Hi. I often get questions about my drawing process, specifically how I draw certain parts of the face, the heads, bodies, clothes, how I color, and so on. And it's hard to put it into a message or a comment, so I decided to make it into a video. 2 videos, actually. This one will be focused on my sketch stage. I will show a couple ways I draw the faces, the body, and will do my best to explain the process. Keep in mind that this is just what I do, and it's not meant to be taken as the correct way to draw. I am a self-taught artist, and I am showing how I draw and sharing some tips I've learned over the years. Just wanted to make that clear. The app I'm using is Ibis Paint X, and my brush is Dip Pen Heart. I always start with the face. One of the ways I do it is with a symmetry ruler. I draw a circle and a line where the eyes will be, lowering the opacity, and on a new layer I start drawing the eyes. I don't do anything crazy: upper lid, lower lid, some lashes, an eyeliner, a double lid if the character has it, a line under the eye because I like it, and the pupils, of course. I change the shapes and everything depending on the character, but this is the basics for me. Also, I like to keep the facial features on separate layers for now. It makes it easier to fix and move things. These little beans are nose bridge shadows, then the eyebrows and the nose. I do the triangle noses, I'm silly like that. But honestly, this can be a nice guide for normal noses too, just don't fill them in later. Then I do the face shape. I never get it right first try, so I liquefy it a little, add a hairline, the rest of the skull, the ears, then move on to the mouth. Nothing much to say here, except I add a line where the shadow will be later. The face itself is done, then I do the hair. I do it in red because it's easier to see, erase the extra lines, merge the layers, and the face is done. Now, how I usually draw faces is a little 3/4 angle. I do the circle again, add a vertical line for the nose, and a horizontal one for the eyes. I start with the eyes again, pretty much the same thing as before, but keeping in mind the perspective. The eye that's further is shorter, I guess. I add a line for the nose bridge on one side. From here it's not too different. I change the features and everything depending on the character. What helped me is referencing and studying real people's faces, so now I almost always draw them off the top of my head. Do the hair, erase extra lines, merge the layers again, and the face is done. You can flip your canvas in the process to check if it's even, but to be honest, I can't be bothered to do that. And as a bonus, here's how I draw side profiles. Draw an oval, a vertical line in the center for the ears and jaw, a horizontal line for the eyes, as usual, and a line for the face shape. This is just a guide. This isn't like where the features end or whatever. I'll do a few examples. I start at the forehead, move to the nose, mouth, chin, down to the neck, then the ear, hairline, the rest of the skull, and finally the eye. As usual, I change the features and shapes depending on the character. Some faces are more forward, square, or round. The noses can have bumps, be more forward, more flat, downwards, upwards, and so on. Some chins are sharper, shorter, or the character has a double chin, and this goes for all the features and parts. Like I mentioned, studying and referencing real people really helps. I forgot to mention, the tips I'm giving are not gonna work for everyone. If you have a completely different style from me, obviously they're not gonna apply to you as easily. My style is closer to realism, so most of this will apply to these styles much easier. But yeah, let's move on to the body now. How I usually draw the body is by freehanding or referencing. I break down the body into boxes: the upper torso, lower torso, upper legs, knees, lower legs, feet, upper arms, lower arms, and hands. That's a blueprint for me. At this stage, I'm not trying to make it pretty, just figuring out the pose and body shape. I do it in stages as well. You can see me merging and moving the layers part by part. Once that's done, I lower the opacity and on a new layer draw the cleaner sketch. First advice I can give is if you're going for a more realistic look, smooth shapes really help. Our bodies aren't straight, we have some bumps here and there, and I feel like smoother shapes help to make the pose look more fluid, or at least more natural looking. The reference I'm using is mostly there for the body type and partially the outfit, but once I'm satisfied, I erase all the extra lines, merge the layers, and fill it all with black. And this is how I reference or freehand the body. Another way you can draw a body is by tracing your reference, preferably photo reference. I've done this a couple times, but I think it's a nice method if you aren't confident enough in your anatomy yet. I simply adjust the head I drew to fit the reference photo and then go in and draw over the picture. The pants and shoes fit the outfit I'm doing perfectly, so I trace them too. At this point, if you do it neatly, you can honestly use this, but I feel like just leaving it like this tends to look a little bit off. I prefer to use this as my guide for the actual sketch. So I lower the opacity and draw over this again, but with all the details and more clean. Then I, as usual, erase all the extra lines, merge the layers, fill it with black, and done. This saves a lot of time and can help learn anatomy, though I would recommend not relying on tracing and using it more as a tool instead. And a quick one, I don't draw side or back angles that much, but this is kind of how I do the side, I guess. Usually I look for references on that. But that's it for this video. In the next part I will talk about my coloring process. I hope this was somewhat helpful. I'm not very good at tutorials, so I had to really think about all of this and put it into words. Thank you so much for watching. You can like this video, maybe even subscribe to me. Check out my other socials in the description and on the screen. And bye!